See, in the last lecture, we have started the problems on beam, right? That is basically we have seen the analysis of beam. Okay, so in this lecture, okay, we will try to solve or we are going to try to solve more number of problems, right, on the analysis of beam. Okay, so let's take this problem. Let's take this problem. This is the problem which is given. Find the deflection. Find the deflection. Find the deflection. See, deflection, it is nothing but deformation or displacement, right? So find the deflection at nodes. Find the deflection at nodes and reactions at support and reactions at support for the beam shown in figure. For the beam shown in figure. Okay, for the beam shown in figure, take E is equal to 200 gigapascal, comma I1 is equal to, that is moment of inertia force for first section of beam. It is 2 into 10 raised to power 7 mm raised to power 4, and I2 is equal to 1 into 10 raised to power 7 mm raised to power 4, right? Okay, now they have mentioned the diagram. Okay, so at the left hand side they have provided with the fixed support, right? This is the beam, okay, which is fixed again at other end. Okay, so this, for this 5 meter you won't have any load, okay, and for rest of the 5 meter, right, for the rest of the 5 meter you have this uniformly distributed load, okay, with the intensity 1 kilonewton per meter, right, with the intensity 1 kilonewton per meter. Okay, see this, what is the total length of the beam? It's a 10 meter, right? So for initial 5 meter you won't have any load, and for remaining 5 meter you have uniformly distributed load with the intensity 1 kilonewton per meter. Now this problem we are supposed to solve. Okay, so as you see in FPA, the very basic step in FPA, okay, it is nothing but a discretization, right? You're supposed to discretize the system, okay, based on certain criteria. First is change in material, right? Change in material. So as you can see, a single value of E is given. That means for this entire beam, the material is same. Okay. Now second criteria is change in cross section. Now if you can see, okay, see this is the one element they have given, okay, and this is the second element which they have given, right? And they have mentioned the value of I1 as this and I2 is this. That means, okay, this 5 meter will have different moment of inertia. Similarly, this 5 meter will have different moment of inertia, right? That means their cross sections are different, right? So based on the criteria of change in cross section, okay, what we will do, we will form two elements. Okay, rather the elements have been already formed. Okay, so let me call this as element number 1. Okay, this is element number 2, right? This becomes node 1, this becomes node 2, this becomes node 3, right? Okay, now see here. Now as I told you, okay, for the problem of beam there are two types of displacement. Okay, one is linear displacement, and second is angular displacement, right? So linear displacement will be in the vertical direction. Okay, so that is vertical direction. I don't know whether it is going upward or whether it is going downward. Okay, so I will assume that, what assumption I will do? I will take the assumption as upward positive. Okay. At the same time, I will take anti-clockwise positive. This is my assumption. Okay. So I will take all linear displacements in vertical direction. Okay. Let this displacement be V1, this is V2, and this is V3. Right? These are the linear displacements. Right? These linear displacements are in Y direction. Okay. So I will call those displacement as V1, V2, V3. Right? Similarly, in addition to the linear displacements, they also have angular displacements. Okay. So what I will do, I will take angular displacement in anti-clockwise direction. Okay. So let this theta1. Okay. This is the angular displacement. Let this be theta2. Again, this is the angular displacement. And let this be theta3. This is again the angular displacement. So V1, V2, V3, they are the linear displacement in Y direction. Theta1, theta2, and theta3, they are the angular displacement about Z axis. Try to understand. V1, V2, V3, they are along Y direction, and theta1, theta2, theta3, they are about Z axis. Okay. So see, this is just an assumption that V1 is positive, V2 is positive, V3 is positive. Similarly, theta1 is anti-clockwise, theta2 is anti-clockwise, and theta3 is anti-clockwise. This is just an assumption, right? So when we calculate the values at that time, we'll be able to understand what is the exact direction of V1, V2, V3, and theta1, theta2, theta3. Okay, so this diagram, it is made on certain with some assumption. Okay, with the assumption that upward is positive and anti-clockwise is positive, right? So see, all of you see here. See, every node, if you talk about every node, will have 2 degrees of freedom, right? So this node will have 2 degrees of freedom, that is V1 and theta1. I will call this as 1, 2, right? Similarly, this node, that is node number 2, again will have 2 degrees of freedom, that is V2 and theta2. So I will call those as 3, 4, right? Similarly, this node 3 will again have 2 degrees of freedom, that is V3 and theta3. So I will call those as 5, 6, right? If you can see, every node can move in 2 directions. Okay. So if you consider all the 3 nodes can move in 6 directions, right? So see, this is 1, 2, this is 3, 4, and this is 5, 6. Okay, that means every node will have 2 degrees of freedom. Is it okay? Let me know.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now here, okay, before starting with the problem, we need to just check for the unit. We need to just check for the unit, right? See here. It is given in gigapascal, right? E is given in gigapascal. Okay. I it is given in mm raised to power 4. I is given in mm raised to power 4, right? And if you see this load, I will call this as load. Load, it is given in kilonewton meter, right? And the length it is given in meter. Try to understand. Length it is given in meter. Is it okay? So what I will do here is, see, if this is in gigapascal, this is okay. This is okay. Mm raised to power 4 is okay. Because gigapascal itself, it is kilonewton per mm square, right? Meaning of gigapascal is kilonewton per mm square. Okay, so this is again okay, but this is to be converted into kilonewton meter to kilonewton per mm. Okay, this is required to be done, and this is again required to be in mm. Okay, but see, if you take length in mm, what happens is this becomes 5,000, right? This becomes 5,000. Is it okay? See, if you take length is in mm, so this becomes 5,000. So instead of doing that, what we will do, we will take E in Pascal, right? We will take E in Pascal, that is Newton per meter square. We will take this in meter raised to power 4, right? Is it okay or not? We will take this in Newton per meter, okay? And we will keep this same, that is Newton, right? We'll keep this same. Okay, so you can see, you will have the uniform units here. You have the uniform units here. Is it okay? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So if you see here, okay, what value of E I should put? What value of E I should put? What is the value of E? E I want in a Pascal. I want in a Pascal, right? That is 200 into 10 raised to power 9 Pascal. Is it okay? You just need to multiply that 9, right? E is multiplied by 10 raised to power 9. So it becomes in Pascal, right? Now I, if you see this I1, can you see this I1? I1. That is E 2 into 10 raised to power 7 mm raised to power 4. Mm raised to power 4, right? Mm raised to power 4. So when you multiply it by 10 raised to power minus 12, it becomes in meter raised to power 4, right? You should understand this. In the last lecture only I told you, when you multiply it by 10 raised to power minus 12, right? So what you will get here? You will get it like 2 into 10 raised to power minus 12 means minus 5 meter raised to power 4. Is it okay or not? Let me know.
Yes, sir.
Right? Similarly, I2 we need to do I2. So it is again 1 into 10 raised to power minus 5 meter raised to power 4. Right? Because see, mm to meter is 10 raised to power minus 3. Minus 3 raised to power 4. That is minus 12. Minus 12 and this 7. So it is minus 5. Right? So this is all about I. Right? So we are done with I. Now question is for F. F we need to do that. Right? So F. See here. F. Okay. So let me write down this force. What is that? 1 kilonewton, right? I will write on that force or UDL. I will write on UDL. Instead of writing force, I will write on UDL. That is, it becomes how much? 1 kilonewton meter, right? 1 kilonewton per meter. So it is 1000 Newton per meter. Is it okay? 1000 Newton per meter. Is it okay? Right? Now let's start with the problem, right? So if you need to solve this problem, okay, you should first know the what is the formula for EME, that is element matrix equation. Okay, can you remember the formula for EME? Whether you know the formula for EME? Stiffness matrix, okay, is given by, I will write down the stiffness matrix, EI by L cube. Is it okay? Yes or no? Tell me,
Yes, sir.
how you used to write down that? EI by L cube. Next, EI by L cube.
12.
12. Tell me.
12.
12.
L.
6L, right? 6L, 4L square. Is it okay? Right?
Yes,
Next, what do you have? You have it here. Minus 12, right? 6L minus 6L, right? 2L square. Okay. Next, what do you have it here? Minus 12 minus 6L, 6L, 2L square, right? Next, 12 minus 6L minus 6L and 4L square. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now see, this is the value of element matrix equation. Okay. So this element matrix equation, you need to apply for every element. Okay. So let's do that. Okay. So I will calculate stiffness matrix for element number 1. I need to do it for element number 1. Here I will write down stiffness matrix for any element E is given by, okay, this formula. So I need to write down for element number 1. So how I'll write down E? What is the value of E? It is 200 into 10 raised to power 9, right? E. Okay. Into I. I for element number 1. What is that? 2 into 10 raised to power 2 into 10 raised to power minus 5, right? EI. EI. Right? E into I by L cube. What is the length of first element? It is 5, right? It's a 5. 5 cube. Okay. Into in multiplication, you have right 12 into 6 into L. What is the length of the element? 5. Okay, so 6 into 5 is 30, right? Again, 6 into L, that is 6 into 5 is 30, right? Now L square, that is 5 square. What is the 5 square? It's a 25. 25 into 4, it's 100. Let me know, is it okay or not?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now I will write down this term, right? So this is minus 12. See here, minus 12, 30, minus 12, 30, right? Minus 30, you can see here, same term is there. This is here only with the minus sign. This is here only. So that I'm copying. This is here only, but with the minus sign I've written. This is here only with the minus sign, right? Now here you require 2L square, right? So L square means 5 square. 5 square is 25 into 2 is 15, right? So that I will write down, right? Now come back to here, right? So same thing, you have it here, but the sign is negative here, right? So I'll write down that. Minus 12, minus 30, 30, and 50. Okay, right? So no, the same thing is here, but here you have minus sign, here you have minus sign, right? Now see here, same thing is here only, but here you have minus sign. So I'll just copy it here only. So I'll write on 12, minus 30, minus 30, and 100. Is it okay or not? Let me know. Is it okay? Each of you. Right. So now, see, you let me know this term, how much it is coming. This term, how much it is coming.
32,000.
How much it is coming?
32,000.
32,000, right? 32,000 you are getting. Okay, you are getting it as 32,000, right? So can we make it like 3.2 into? Let me know. So it is 3.2 into how much? 10 raised to power. Tell me.
3.
3.2.
10 raised to power.
हाँ बोलो. 4 ना?
3, sir.
10 raised to power 4.
Right.
10 raised to power 4.
10 to the power 4.
That is the reason why I'm asking to you is 32,000. It's not 3,200. It's 32,000. That's why it is 3.2 into 10 raised to power 4, right? So what we
3.2.
will just, right. So what we will do is we'll just keep this 10 raised to power 4 outside. Okay, because if you multiply this 32,000 inside, na, okay, so see, with the more terms you need to do the calculation. So I'll take 10 raised to power 4 outside, multiply 3.2 to 12, right? Are you able to get it? 3.2 into 12. Let me know how much of it. 3.2 into 12. Let me know fast.
38.4.
How much?
38.4. 38.4.
38.4. Now 3.2 into 30. Let me know. 3.2 into 30. Let me know.
96.
96, right? So here it is 96. So again here it will be 96, right? Now 3.2 into 100.
320.
320, right? 320. Now here I will get same value, minus 38.4. Here I will get 96. Here again I will get minus 96. Try to understand. Minus 96 I will get here. Now tell me 3.2 into 50. 3.2 into 50.
160.
How much? 160, right? Yes or no? Now same value I will get here. Minus 38.4 minus 96, 96, 160, right? Same here I will get 38.4 minus 96 minus 96 and 320. Is it okay? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now see all of you. See, now we need to give the numbers to the rows and columns, right? So if you see here, for node number 1, there are 2 degrees of freedom. For node number 2, again, there are 2 degrees of freedom. So they are in the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I need to assign it accordingly. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. And here it is again 1, 2, 3. Is it okay? Right. Now we're supposed to do it for second element, right? So let me write down this formula for second element. So I'll write down here, stiffness matrix for second element is given by E of second element. E is same for entire problem, right? So it is 200 into 10 raised to power 9, E into I of second element, that is I2, right? So it is 1 into 10 raised to power minus 5, okay, EI by L cube, length of the element, right? What is the length of the element? It is same, it's 5 meter, that is 5 cube, right? Into what? This 12, right? And length is same. So 6 into 5 is 30. Okay, so here again it will come 30. And 4 into L square, length is 5. So 5 square is 25 into 4 is 100, right? This is 100. So see, similar, this matrix also I'll get, because for this element also length is same. That is 5 meter. So I just need to copy this matrix, right? So I'll just copy that matrix. Now see, I have written this matrix, right? 12 into 6 into L, L is 5. So 6 into 5 is 30. Again, this is 6 into L, that is 6 into 5 is 30. And 4 into L square, 4 into 5 square. So 5 square is 25 into 4 is 100, right? So I need to copy it same. Okay, so I'll write on minus 12. Okay, then 30. Okay, then minus 30. Okay, here it is 50, right? Now I'll write down here again, minus 12, minus 30, 30, 50, then 12, minus 30, minus 30, and 100. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have here? See, because same length. See, this matrix will depends upon length. So you have same length. So basically, you just need to copy this matrix as it is, right? Okay. Now see, now let me know how much this term you're getting. How much this term you're getting, right?
1.6 into 10 raised to 4.
1.6
6 into 10 raised to 4.
10 raised to power 4, right? So what I will do is, okay, we'll take this 10 raised to power 4 common. Okay. And now we need to multiply it inside, right? We need to multiply it inside. So 1.6 into 12, let me know immediately. 1.6 into 12.
19.2.
19.2. 1.6 into 30.
48.
48. So here again it is 48. 1.6 into 100. It's a 160.
160.
Right? Now same I will have minus 19.2. 48. Minus 48. 1.6 into 50. 1.6 into 50.
80.
80.
80, right? So this is minus 19.2 minus 48, 48 and 80, right? Then 19.2 minus 48 minus 48, and this is 160, right? This is 160. Right? Now same like what we have done for stiffness matrix 1, we are supposed to assign the numbers to the rows and columns, right? So see, for node number 2, there are 2 degrees of freedom. For node number 3, again, there are 2 degrees of freedom, right? And those degrees of freedom are 3, 4, 5, 6, right? In the sequence, we need to assign. So this is 3, 4, this is 5, 6, right? This is 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So now we are supposed to write down this global stiffness matrix, right? Global stiffness matrix. Okay. So for that, you should be able to determine what is the size of global stiffness matrix. Okay, what is the size of global stiffness matrix? Okay, so size of the global stiffness matrix will be defined by number of nodes. Okay, how many number of nodes you have into how many degrees of freedom per node you have, right? Right. So in the problem we have 3 nodes. and each node can move in 2 direction. So I'm getting 6, right? So size of the global stiffness matrix is 6 by 6. Okay, so I will write down here. Global stiffness matrix is given by, okay, so I need to assign here. Now rows and columns I need to assign. Okay, node number, see, row number 1, okay, column number 1. Then here I will write down 2, here I will write down 3, 4, and 5, and 6, right? So these are the columns. Similarly, I need to assign the rows. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 we can have, right? 6. Okay. So see, idea is basically, okay, we need to pick the element stiffness matrices, right? And we need to place those element stiffness matrices into the global stiffness matrices, right? So every element stiffness matrices you need to pick it, okay, and placed it in a global stiffness matrices, right? So let me know how to do that, right? How we'll do that? Okay, just pick this matrix. Just pick this matrix, right? This is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just get the starting point, right? But before that, don't take or don't forget to take this 10 raised to power 4 common. I will take it common, right? So here I will write down 38.496 minus 38.4, okay, 96, right? Here I'll get 96, 320, 320 minus 96, 160 minus 38.4 minus 96, right? This is 38.4 and minus 96. Then this is 96, 160 minus 96, 320, right? So this is finished. So I just pick element stiffness matrices of element number 1 and I just place it here, right? Nothing else I done. Okay, see, it is straightforward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So just you write down the starting element. Okay, so in the side of that, you can write down the rest of the elements, right? So this is for element number 1, right? Now same exercise we need to repeat for element number 2. Okay, as I told you, you just get the starting point, that is 3, 3. So at a location 3, 3, you put 19.2. Okay, so this is 3 and this is 3, right? This is 3 and 3. So here I need to write down 19.2. I will write down here 19.2. Side of that 48. See here, side of that 48. That I written 48. Then I will get here minus 19.2. Then here 48, right? Then here again plus 48, right? Plus 160 minus 48. This is EG. Then minus 19.2 minus 48. 19.2 minus 48. Then 48, 80 minus 48 and 160. Okay, so I written each of the element, right? Now rest of the element where I'm not getting any term, I need to write down as 0, right? So I'll write down those elements as a 0 value. I'll write down those elements as a 0 value, right? So this is a global stiffness matrix, right? This is a global stiffness matrix. Okay, now see, you try to understand now. This is very important. This is very important. See, now see, all of you see here. Now see, if you see in the problem, see, this is a global stiffness matrix which we got, right? So global stiffness matrix multiplied by displacement given by force. This is the equation, right? Global stiffness matrix, when you multiply it by displacement, it will give you the value of force, right? So for that, okay, we should know what are the forces. Okay, we should know what are the forces, right? So see here, in the problem, this UDL is given, right? UDL is given. This is uniformly distributed load, right? So let me draw that diagram. Okay, let me draw that diagram. Okay, see here. I will draw that diagram, uniformly distributed load. Okay, so see here, one of you. See, this is node. Okay, I will draw the entire diagram, right? This is node 1. This is node 1. Okay, this is your node 2. Okay, This is your node 3. Okay, this is node 1, right? Node 1, node 2, and node 3. Okay, you have this uniformly distributed node, load. You have this uniformly distributed load only on element number 2. Only on element number 2. Okay, so see here. Okay, see, what is the intensity of uniformly distributed load? 1 kilonewton per meter. 1 kilonewton per meter. But this is 1 kilonewton. We need to convert into Newton. So this is 1000. This is 1000 Newton per meter. So when this 1000 Newton per meter, when it act on a 5 meter, okay, when this 1000 Newton per meter, when it will act on 5 meter, tell me what will be the load which is applied when this 1 kilonewton meter, this what you can say 1000 Newton meter, when it apply on 5 meter length, then what will be the load which will be applied?
5,000.
5,000.
5,000, right? That is 5,000. Is it okay or not? Let me know. 5,000, right? So see, out of 5,000, okay, what happens is half load will be get distributed at this node, and half load will be distributed at this node. Try to understand. Okay. So see, on this UD, see, let me write down here. This is element number 1. Okay, this is element number 2, right? See, for element number 1, how many degree of freedom are there? 1, 2. For element number 2, 3, 4. And for element number 3, these are 5, 6. Try to understand. This is very important. Okay. Now see here. See, what is the intensity of uniformly distributed load? Okay, it is 1000 Newton per meter. So when the 1000 Newton per meter, when it will act on 5 meter, it becomes 5,000, right? So what will do? Half it will get distributed at node 2 and half will be get distributed at node 3, right? So here, what I will get is, here I will get it as QL by 2. Okay, QL by 2 will go here. Okay, similarly, QL by 2 will go here. Okay, now see what is Q? It's the intensity. What was the intensity? It was 1,000, and it was this 1,000 intensity was acting on 5 meter, right? It is acting on a 5 meter divided by 2. Okay, so out of that 5,000, okay, on node 2 you are getting 2,500. Similarly, here you are getting 2,500. Is it okay? Let me know. Is it okay or not?
Yes, sir.
See, this is 1000 Newton per meter. When 1000 Newton per meter, when act on a 5 meter, it becomes 5,000. So out of that 5,000, okay, okay, 2,500 will go to one node and 2,500 will go to another node. See, that is only written, but it is written in terms of some formula, right? So this is all about loads. Okay, then what will be about the movement, right? What will be the about the movement? Okay, so see what we will do. Okay, we will take one movement. Okay, in clockwise direction and one movement in anti-clockwise direction. Understand? This diagram will always remain same. Okay, one movement will act in clockwise direction, one movement will act on anti-clockwise direction. See, as I told you, this diagram will again remain same irrespective of any problem. Okay, what is the meaning of that? Every displacement you are supposed to take it in vertical direction, that is in upward direction, and every angular displacement you need to take it in anti-clockwise direction, right? Every linear displacement, it is in vertical upward direction, and every angular displacement, it is in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so this diagram will remain same. Only number of nodes can vary or number of elements can vary, but direction of vertical displacement will be always upward and direction of angular displacement will be always anti-clockwise.
Sir, it is an assumption, na?
Yeah. See, as I told you, with this assumption, I am solving the problem, right? So see, let me know. Okay, if you have calculated the value of V2 and if it is coming as a negative, that means the whatever the value of direction of V2 that you assume, it's wrong. See, this is just an assumption, right?
Yes, sir.
It is just a direction. We don't know the magnitude, right? So when we will calculate the magnitude, obviously with the magnitude you will get direction. That is whether it is positive or negative. If the V2 is coming negative, that means this assumed direction is wrong. Okay, but with the certain able to reach it. So again, for this diagram, see, obviously this is uniformly distributed load, so load will act in a downward direction. Okay, so see, this load, it is acting in a downward direction. Is it okay? The load, it is acting in a downward direction. Out of that load, half will be get at one node and half will go to another node, right? One movement is clockwise and second movement is anti-clockwise. Now question is, okay, what is the magnitude of this movement, right? So it is given by QL square by 12. Try to understand what is the magnitude. It's QL square by 12. So let's calculate it. Okay, Q, what is Q? It's 1000. See here, Q is 1000. This intensity is Q. What is Q? It's the intensity. So this is 1000 Newton. Okay, so that I region, that is 1000. Okay, into L square, length. What is the length of this beam? It's 5, right? So it's 5 square by 12, right? So tell me how much you are getting. QL square by 12. Tell me how much you are getting. Tell me how much you are getting, all of you.
2083.40.
Q is 1000 into 5 square by 12. Let me know immediately.
2083.33.
0.33, right? So similar movement will be here, right? That is QL square by 12, right? That is equal to 2083.33. Is it okay? Yes or no? Is it okay or not?
Yes, sir.
So basically what you have done is, you have converted this uniformly distributed load into point loads and moments, right? You converted this uniformly distributed load which was applied on element number 2 into point load and moment, right? So it was 1000 which was acting on a 5 meter, so it was 5000. So out of 5000, 2500 will act on node 2, 2500 will act on node 3. Okay, one moment you will get it as clockwise movement, one moment you will get it as anti-clockwise. And what is the magnitude of that movement? It is QL square by 12. QL square by 12. That is your answer, right? Now see, now we have just converted this, okay, uniformly distributed load into what? Point load, right? So for that we should write down the matrix, right? For that we should write down the matrix, right? So I need to write down the force matrix here. Okay, I should write down the force matrix. So I supposed to write down here. So force matrix is given by, now see here, is there any point load here on node 1? Let me know. Is there any uniformly distributed load which you have converted into point load on node 1?
No,
See,
sir.
is there any uniformly distributed load on element number 1? Check it.
No.
Is there any uniformly distributed load on a node number 1? No. Okay. So as there is no load on the element number 1, you are not supposed to convert it, right? So see, on node number 1, okay, you won't have such sort of load acting, so it is 0. Similarly, at node number 1, is there any movement in clockwise and anti-clockwise direction? No, right? Is it okay or not? See, 1, what is the meaning of 1? It is, there is no force which is acting like this. What is the meaning of 2? Okay, there is no movement which is acting like this. Now come to point number 2. Come to node number 2, right? Just come to node number 2. What is the force? 2500, right? Try to understand. Force is 2500, right? Now just compare. Okay, all of you just see that. Just compare this. See, if you can you see this V2? Okay, can you see this V2? It is going upward. And what is the direction here? Here, this is upward. this is downward, right? This is upward, this is downward, right? So, okay, direction is get reversed. Okay, so this is to be written as minus 2,500. Try to understand. Compare this with this. This V2 is going upward, this is going downward. So I need to write down minus sign here, right? Now come to movement. This is going in anti-clockwise, this is going in clockwise, right? This is anti-clockwise, this is clockwise, right? So I need to write down minus sign. So this is minus 2083.33. Try to understand. Because see, this was upward, this was downward, so I'm writing minus. This is anti-clockwise, this is clockwise, that's why I'm writing minus, right? Now come back here, right? Come to this diagram. This is going upward, this is going downward. So again, I need to write down minus 2,500, right? Now, if you see, this is anti-clockwise, this is again anti-clockwise, right? This is anti-clockwise, this is anti-clockwise, so this is plus, right? This is 2083.33. Okay. So what is the purpose to do this everything is to write down this matrices, that is force column, right? I was supposed to write down the force column. How I got it? Okay, or if you can see this node number one. Node number one, is there anything? No, because you have the uniformly distributed load only on element number 2, which you have converted into point load on node number 2 and node number 3. But here, if you can see, on element number 1, there is no uniformly distributed load. There is no uniformly distributed load. So obviously, as there is no uniformly distributed load, there is no need of any conversion. So for node number 1, there is nothing load, no load is there. Okay. Similarly, there is no movement. So this is for load, this is for movement. So they are 0. So come back to this arrow. Okay, just see here. Okay, when you come back here, okay, see, force movement, and force movement, right? This is to be written. Force movement, force movement, force movement. This is for node number 1, this is for node number 2, and this is for node number 3. Okay. So if you compare this for node, just see for node number 2, it is upward, it is downward. That's why this is minus. This is anti-clockwise, right? This is clockwise. That's why this is minus, right? Then this is upward, this is downward. That's why this is minus, right? Next, this is anti-clockwise. This is again anti-clockwise. That's why this is plus. Is it okay? Is it okay or not?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now see, once we have this force matrices, now we can write down. The global matrix equation. Okay. So what is your global matrix equation? GME, that you used to call it as GME. Right, global stiffness matrix equation is given by, okay, global matrix. Okay, global matrix. This is to be multiplied by displacement. Okay, displacement that will be either V or theta. Okay, is given by force or moment. Is given by force or moment. Right? So I need to write down the global stiffness matrices now. Okay, so I will take 10 raised to power 4 outside. Okay, 10 raised to power 4 I will take it outside. So what is remaining? 38.4, then 96 minus 38.4, 96, 0, 0, right? Then this is 96, 320 minus 96, 160, 0, 0, right? Then minus 38.4 minus 96. Tell me this 38.4 plus 19.2. Let me know. How much you will get?
57.6.
57.6. Then 40 minus 96 plus 48.
Minus 48.
46 minus 48. Right? Then minus 19.2 and this is 48. Right? Next 96, 160. Then this is again minus 96 plus 48. Okay, that is minus 48. Then 320 plus 160.
480.
This is 480. This is minus 48. And this is 80. Right. Next, I'll put 0, 0, minus 19.2, minus 48, 19.2, minus 48, right? Then 0, 0, 48, 80, minus 48, 160. Okay. This is the global stiffness matrix. This is to be multiplied by displacements, right? Now, if you can see in the problem, displacements are v1 theta 1, v2 theta 2, and v3 theta 3, right? So I need to write down accordingly. Okay, so v1 theta 1, v2 theta 2, v3 theta 3. So these are the linear displacements and angular displacements. Is equal to obviously force and moment, right? F1 m1, F2 m2, F3 m3, right? So these are the forces. Okay, but these are the point loads, right? Now in addition to those points loads, right, you have the loads, uniformly distributed loads, which you have converted into point loads. Okay, so this, okay, you're supposed to superimpose on this column, right? This you're supposed to superimpose on this column. Okay, so see, I supposed to write down that. So see, I need to write down F1. Okay, see here, first element is 0. Okay, so this is 0. This is again 0. Okay, this is minus 2500. Okay, this is minus 2083.33, right? This is minus 2500, and this is plus 2083.33. Is it okay? Is it okay or not? Let me know. Same.
Yes, sir.
I just superimpose this here, right? Nothing else I done. Now, how to solve it? Tell me how we'll solve it. Okay, for that we need to go for checking the boundary conditions, right? So we're supposed to impose the boundary conditions. So tell me, what are the boundary conditions? What are the boundary conditions? Can let me know.
V1 and theta 1 is 0.
See, right, at node number 1, the structure is fixed. That means V1 and theta 1 are 0. That means node 1 cannot move in any direction. So V1 and theta 1 are 0, right? Now come to next points.
V3 is 0.
V3 is 0. Why only V3 is 0?
Sorry, sir. V5 is 0.
V5 is 0. See, at node number 3, you have fixed support only. At node number 3, you have fixed support only. Okay, that means V3 and theta 3 are 0. Try to understand. V3 and theta 3 are 0. Because at node 3, again, you have fixed support. See, at node number 1, it is fixed. It is indicated like this. But at node number 3, okay, you might feel this is a roller. This is not a roller. For roller, you have some, okay, wheels there. It is not there, right? It's a fixed only. So at node number 3, again, it is fixed. So V3 and theta 3 are 0. So V3 and theta 3 are 0. Is it okay? Right? Yes or no? So see, when
Yes,
V1
sir.
is 0, what happens is this first row, okay, and first column gets cancelled, right? Similarly, when theta 1 is 0, what happens is this second row, okay, and second column gets cancelled. Okay, next V3 is 0. Okay, so this fifth row, okay, and fifth column gets cancelled. Similarly, theta 3 is 0. So the sixth row, minus 48, 480, but it has to be multiplied by 10 raised to the power 4 is equal, okay, into V2 theta 2 is given by is equal to what? See, this is the equations. You have the equation with two unknown, that is V2 and theta 2. You have the equation with two unknown, that is V2 and theta 2, provided you know F2 and M2, F2 and M2. Okay, so what is F2? Force applied at node 2. Okay, force applied at node 2. So is there any force is applied at node 2? Node 2 पे कुछ force है क्या? ऐसा लगाया गया कुछ? Is there any force applied?
No,
like
sir.
3 kilonewton, 4 kilonewton? Is there any node? Is there any force? No. So F2 is 0. No force is applied. See, what we have done, we have converted uniformly distributed load into point load. But is there any additional point load is given at node 2? No. So F2 is 0. Similarly, is there any movement it is given at node 2? Like
No, sir.
3 kilonewton meter, 4 kilonewton meter? No. So again, M2 is 0. Right? Now we are supposed to solve it. Right? So let's solve this in your calculator. Okay. How will put, see, this is the equation with two unknowns. How will put this value? 57.6 into 10 raised to the power 4 minus 48 into 10 raised to the power 4. Okay, then minus 2500. Then minus 48 into 10 raised to the power 4, 480 into 10 raised to the power 4, and this is minus 2083.30. Okay, so just put that value and let me know what value of V2 and theta 2 you are getting. Tell me how much answer you are getting.
V2 is equal to minus 51.29.
Minus 51. All of you check it.
10 raised to 4 le Rafiq.
That is a problem. As I told you initially, you put that 10 raised to the power 4, still you are not putting. That is the reason why I always ask you to solve the problem. You can see what I'm doing. Tell me how much answer you are getting. Tell me how much answer you are getting.
5.14 into 10 raised to
I want the answer from you. How much?
minus 5.129 into 10 raised to minus 3.
Okay, we'll write on minus 0.0051. This is V2 and theta 2 I'm getting as minus 0.0009. This is radian. This is radian and this is in mm. Right? Are you getting same?
Yes,
All
sir.
of you, are you getting? Right?
Yes, sir.
These are the values which you got. Right? Now we are interested to calculate F1. F1. I will get that first row, this column, right? So 10 raised to the power 4 into 10 raised to the power 4 into this is 0. 96 into this is 0. So minus 38.4 V2 plus 96
सर वो
into
V2 मीटर में मिलेगा क्या mm में मिलेगा?
what?
mm में या मीटर में सर?
V2 will be in meter. V2 will be in meter.
यस
V2
सर.
will be in meter. V2 will be in meter. So this, see, this 10 raised to power 4 into this row and this column, right? So this into this is 0, this into this is 0, minus 38.4 V2 plus 96 theta 2, this is 0, this is 0, is equal to F1 plus 0. So from that, you tell me the value of F1, right? Similarly, I need to do for M1. I'll do that. 10 raised to power 4 into minus 96 V2 plus 160 into theta 2, okay, is equal to M1 plus 0. So from that, you tell me the value of M1, right? Similarly, we will do for this one, F3 minus 2500. That is fifth row and this column, right? So 10 raised to power 4 minus 19.2 V2 minus 48 theta 2, okay, is equal to F3 minus 2500. F3 minus 2500. So you tell me the value of F3, right? Similarly, last row into this column is equal to M3 plus 2083.33, right? So I'll write down 10 raised to power 4, 48 V2 plus 80 theta 2 is equal to M3 plus 2083.33. So tell me the value of M3. Tell me. You tell me F1, M1, F3, M3. Immediately tell me.
One 1094.4.
F1.
Yes, sir.
What is F1?
1094.4.
F1 is this one. All of you check it. M1.
3456.
M1 is
3456.
Newton meter. Right? F3. All of you check the answers. All of you, have you taken this 10 raised to power 4 in multiplication for every term? Have you taken it or not?
Yes, sir.
Then tell me F3. We know immediately.
3911.2.
3911.2 Newton. M3. Tell me M3.
Minus 5251.33.
How much?
Minus 5251.33.
All of you getting same answer? Let me check whether all of you are getting same answer or not. Do it. Okay, so if you take the summation of forces, just take the summation of forces in y direction. So this is F1 plus 0 plus F2 minus 2500 plus F3 minus 2500. See, you can't add F1, only F2 and F3. You need to add this total term. This term, F1 plus 0 plus F2 minus 2500 plus F3 minus 2500. So let's check it. So F1 is 1094.4 plus 0 plus F2. Okay, F2 value of F2. See here we have put its value as 0. Okay, this is 0. 0 minus 2500 plus F3 we have calculated 3911.2 minus 2500. So all of you check it. How much you get? How much you get?
5.6.
5.6, right? So there is some error. 5.6. Okay, 5.6. Okay, that is the error in 2500, right? So that error can be, you can consider that error to be equal to 0. Try to understand. We can consider that error to be equal to 0, right? Because that error, it is very less. Is it okay or not? Similarly, you can calculate the summation of movement about Z. You can calculate that. I will do that. M1 plus 0 plus M2 minus 2083.33 plus M3 plus 2083.33, right? So M1, value of M1 we have calculated 3456 plus 0 plus M2 is 0 minus 2083.33 plus M3 we have calculated minus 5251.33 plus 2083.33, right? So let me know what summation of movement you get. Summation of movement. Summation of movement. Let me know first. Let me know what answer you're getting. What summation of movement you're getting? How much you're getting? Summation of movement about Z axis. Can you add this all? Let me know. How much we're getting?
Minus 1795.33.
Minus
1795.33.
95.33 Newton meter, right? So this is the value of movement you are getting. The summation of movement you will never get equal to 0. Okay, if you need, so what is the meaning of summation of movement 0? It is balanced. Okay, so in order to balance this, you need to produce the same movement. Okay, the movement of same magnitude but different direction, so as to balance it. Right? So this is all about the problem which we are taken. Okay, so see, this was the problem given. Discretize. Okay, we have formed the element stiffness matrices, right? Then we have formed the global stiffness matrices. After that, we have converted uniformly distributed load into point loads, right? And after that, we have written the global matrix equation, and further we have done the calculation. Is it okay to you? Is it okay to each of you?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay to each of you? Let me know. Is it okay? So now we'll take one more problem based on this beam. Okay. So see this problem. Figure shows the beam of uniform rectangular cross section, uniform rectangular cross section, 10 centimeter by 12 centimeter, 10 centimeter by 12 centimeter, subjected to point load, and uniformly distributed load, Young's modulus is 2 megapascal. Young's modulus is 2 megapascal, and Poisson's ratio is 0.3. Poisson's ratio is 0.3. Determine deflections. Determine the deflections and slopes. Determine the deflection and the slopes. Determine the deflection and the slopes. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so the diagram is given. So this is the beam which is given. Right. So at one end it is fixed. Okay, to another end we have ruler. We have the ruler. Okay, so for initial length of 2 meter, okay, they are calling this as A and B. This is A and this is B. Okay, so at a distance 2 meter, they're applying the load 50 kilonewton. Okay, then for again 1 meter, there is nothing, and again for rest of the 2 meter, this is 2 meter only. Okay, this is 2 meter. They have this uniformly distributed. Right? With the intensity 25 kilonewton per meter. With the intensity 25 kilonewton per meter. Okay, now see, this is the last problem which we are taking on the beam. So all of you, okay, initially problem which we are taken, it is only with the point load. Next problem which we are taken, it is on the uniformly distributed load. Now we have taken the combined problem, okay, which contains point load as well as uniformly distributed load. Okay, let me know how to start. Let me know immediately how to start. Let me know how to start. See here, all of you. Figure shows a beam of uniform rectangular cross section. So if you see the cross section here, it is rectangle. So you try to understand. This is a beam of rectangular cross section. Okay. So if you see the cross section here, it is coming to be rectangle, right? And of what section? 10 centimeter into 12 centimeter, right? So if I need to calculate the moment of inertia I, it is given by BH cube by 12. Says or no? For rectangular. So B is 0.1 meter, 0.1 meter into H is 0.12 meter. Okay, so this is BH cube by 12, right? BH cube by 12. So tell me what value of I you're getting. Tell me what value of I you're getting. 0.1 into 0.12 cube by 12.
1.44 into 10 raised to minus 5.
1.44 into 10 raised to power minus 5, right? This is meter raised to power. This is meter raised to power, right? This is I, right? Then Young's modulus is 2 megapascal, right? So Young's modulus E, okay, E is 2 megapascal. That means it is 2 into 10 raised to power 6, okay, Pascal. Okay, 2 into 10 raised to power 6 Pascal, right? Now see, this is with the unit conversions, right? Now we need to basically start with the solution of the problem, right? So very basic step is the discretization. Okay, so what I will do? Okay, so I will discretize it. Now see, all of you see here. For entire beam, the cross section is same. Okay, because single value of B and H is given. Right, that means this beam, it is having uniform cross section, and it is mentioned also. So based on change in cross section, you are not able to divide it. Again, this entire beam, it is made up of the same material as single value of E is given, right? So again, based on change in material, you are not able to discretize it, right? Now see, so how will discretize? Okay, see, for this section, you don't have any uniformly distributed load. For this section, you have uniformly distributed load. So based on this, okay, based on this, you will get only two elements. This is one element and this is one element. Okay, but again, at a distance 2 meters from fixed end, they applied the load. So as I told you, the point where they applied the load, okay, that point, okay, you form it as node. Okay, so obviously this point I need to bring it here. So how many elements I'm getting? I'm getting element number 1. This is element number 2, and this is element number 3. Okay, see, ideally there are two elements. This is one element and this is one element. But as they have applied the load here, so at that point I need to form the node. So again, this element gets split into two parts, right? So let this be node number 1, this is node number 2, this is node number 3, and this is node number 4, right? Okay, now see, each node will have 2 degrees of freedom. That is 1, 2, this is 3, 4, this is 5, 6, okay, this is 7, 8. Each node will have 2 degrees of freedom. Okay, now each node will have vertical displacement, right? Each node will have vertical displacement. So that we will call it as V1. This is V2, this is V3, and this is V4, right? V1, V2, V3, V4, they are vertical displacements. Vertical displacements, right? Now similarly, each node will have angular displacements. Okay, so in the same manner we will do that. Okay, this is theta 1. Okay, this is theta 2. This is theta 3. Okay, this is theta 4. Right? Theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4. I make this diagram with the assumption that upward is a positive and anti-clockwise is a positive. Okay. So now we need to start it. We need to start the solution of this problem. How will we do that? Let me know how to do that. We need to write down element stiffness matrices, right? So I will write down element stiffness matrices. Ke is given by K EI by L cube, EI by L cube, right? Okay. Can anybody tell me how to write down that? Tell me how to write down that. I will remember it or not. This is 12, 6L, 6L. This is 4L square. Then minus 12, 6L, minus 6L, 2L square. Then minus 12, minus 6L, 6L, 2L square. Then 12, minus 6L, minus 6L, 4L square, right? So this is the value of element stiffness matrices, right? Now we need to write down these element stiffness matrices for individual element 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'll do. So we will form this stiffness matrix for element number 1. E is given by E. It is same for entire product. That is 2 into 10 raised to power 6. E into I. I is 1.44 into 10 raised to power minus 5. EI, right? This is E into I by L. L. This is length of the element 1. That is 2. Cube. Okay. So this is to be multiplied by, okay, 12. Now 6 into 2, right? 6 into 2, it's 12 again, right? 6 into 2 is 12, right? And this 4 into 2 square. So 2 square is 4. 4 into 4 is 16, right? This is 16. Next here, minus 12, right? Then you have 12. Then you will have here minus 12. Then you will have, okay, L square, that is 2 square is 4. 4 into 2 is 8. Okay, then I need to write down minus 12. Okay, then here again minus 12, then here 12, and here 8, right? Then 12 minus 12 minus 12 and 16. Let me know, is it okay or not?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me how much this term is coming.
3.6.
This term is how much coming?
3.6.
Only 3.68 is coming. It is only 3.6.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see. So this is 3.6. We need to multiply inside. So let's see how much we're getting. 3.6 into 12. Let me know. 3.6 into 12.
43.2.
Is there any doubt? See, this is 2 cube. 2 cube. It's not 23. It's a 2 cube. It is 43.2. Now 3.6 into 12. Again, this is 43.2. This is 43.2. And 3.6 into 16. 3.6 into 16.
57.6.
57.6. Okay. Now add on minus 43.2. This is 43.2. And this is minus 43.2. 3.6 into 8. 3.6 into 8.
28.8.
28.8. Next is minus 43.2. Minus 43.2. Here 43.2 and 28.8. Right. Next here 43.2 minus 43.2 minus 43.2 and 57.6. Right. So this is for element number 1. But if you see element number 1, it is between 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to write down like this. 1, 2, here it is 3, 4, and 1, 2, here again 3, 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Right? So we need to repeat it. Okay. For element number 2 and 3. Okay. So I will write down here stiffness matrix for element number 2. Now stiffness matrix for element number 2. How I should do that? E and I are same. Okay. So E is 2 into 10 raised to power 6. I is 1.44 into 10 raised to power minus 5. EI by length of first element, it is 1 cube. 1, that is 1 cube. Okay. Into. Okay. We'll get 12 into 6 into L. L is 1 now. So 12, 6, 6, both minus 12, 6, 6, 2, and minus 12, 6, 6, 2, then 12, minus 6, and 4. Right? Okay.
Sir, wake the camera.
Is it okay? Right? Now let me know how much this term is coming.
28.8.
28.8, right? So we are supposed to multiply it inside. Okay, so let me know that. 28.8 into 12.
345.6.
345.6. 28.8 into 6.
172.8.
172. So here again it is 172.8. 28.8 into 4.
115.2.
115.2. Right? Next, minus 345.6. 172.8 minus 172.8. Then this 28.8 into 2.
57.6.
57.6, right? Next, minus 345.6, minus 172.8, 172.8, 57.6. Next, 345.6, 172.8. This is minus 172.8, minus 172.8, and 115.2, right? Is it okay? Okay, now see, for element number 2 also I need to give 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So I need to assign it like this. 3, 4, 5, 6, right? This is 3, 4, 5, 6. Now go to element number 3. Now go to stiffness matrix of element number 3. Stiffness matrix of element number 3. Okay, so see, stiffness matrix of element number 3, it is of same length, right? Yes or no? It is of same length as like element number 1. Okay, E is same, I is same, okay, and L is same. Okay, so I will just copy the same matrix. Okay, so here. So I will just copy the same matrix which is of element number 1. So this is 43.2. This is 43.2, 43.2, 57.6. Right? Next, minus 43.2, 43.2, minus 43.2, and 28.8. Next, minus 43.2, minus 43.2, 43.2, 28.8. Next, 43.2, minus 43.2, minus 43.2, and 57.6. Right? Okay, but if you see for element number 3, degrees of freedom are 5, 6, and 7, 8. Right, so put it here 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Again, here you have 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now we need to form the global stiffness matrices. Okay, so size of the global stiffness matrices will be how much? How many total number of nodes are? 4 nodes. Each node can move in 2 directions. So size of the global stiffness matrix will be 8 by 8. Okay, so if I need to write down the global stiffness matrix, okay, it has to be of size 8 by 8, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Because its size is 8 by 8, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so see how many you will get 8 rows and 8 columns. Okay, see ultimately by imposing the boundary condition, okay, we will try to reduce its complexity, right? So we will be able to solve. Okay, initially you need to form the global stiffness matrix of size 8 by 8. Right? You should form it of size 8 by 8. Now just start picking each element stiffness matrices, right? So I'll just pick it here and place it here, right? So I'll do that. So 43.2, 43.2, minus 43.2, 43.2, and 43.2, 57.6, minus 43.2, 28.8, minus 43.2, minus 43.2, 43.2, minus 43.2. Right here you will get 43.2, 28.8, minus 43.2, and 57.6. Right? So these matrices I just pick it and place it as it is, right? So similar sort of exercise I need to repeat. Okay, for stiffness matrix 2. This is stiffness matrix of element number 2. So I should get a starting point. That is 3, 3. So I'll start from 3 and 3. Okay, so from this location I need to start. So here I will get plus 345.6. This element I'm putting 345.6 plus 172.8 minus 345.6, 172.8. Right. Below that, plus 172.8, 115.2, minus 172.8, 57.6, right? Minus 345.6, minus 172.8, 345.6, minus 172.8. Here I will get 172.8, right? 57.6, minus 172.8, and 115.2. Let me know, is it okay? Is it okay with this one? Right?
Yes, sir.
Now we need to start with this 5, 6, 7, 8. You just get the starting point 5, 5. So at a location 5 and 5, see this is 5, this is 5. Okay, so this location from which I can start. So it is plus 43.2. Right here again plus 43.2. Here minus 43.2. Here 43.2. Here plus 43.2. Here plus 57.6. Okay. Minus 43.2. 28.8. Here it is minus 43.2. Minus 43.2. 43.2. Minus 43.2. Then 43.2. 28.8 minus 43.2 and 57.6, right? So I just pick the element stiffness matrices and I just put those matrices in a global stiffness matrix, right? So this is the matrix I'm getting. So on at this some, see at some locations you are not getting any elements, right? So those elements you're supposed to mark with 0 value, right? You're supposed to mark those elements with the 0 values. Okay. So now this is the global stiffness matrix, right? So global stiffness matrices, okay, multiplied by force is given by moment. Okay. So before that, I should convert this uniformly distributed load into point loads. I should convert that, right? Say so no. So let me convert it. Okay, so see here, just talk about this node number 1. This is node number 1. This is node number 2, right? This is node number 3. Okay, and this is node number 5. Node number 1, node number 2, node number 3, and node number 4. Node number 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 nodes. Okay, but see, you have uniformly distributed load only on element number 3. Okay, so see, what is the intensity? Okay, this is 25 kilonewton per meter. That is 25,000. 25,000 is acting on 2 meter. Yes or no? How it will act? It will act in downward direction. Okay, with what intensity it will act? It will act with the intensity QL by 2, right? Q is what? QL by 2. And here again it is QL by 2. QL by 2 and QL by 2, right? So what is the intensity? Q is this 25, right? What is the value of Q? It's a 25. So that is 25,000. Okay, because it is in kilonewton, I need to convert it into newton. So it is 25,000 into length. Length is 2 meter. Okay, by 2. Okay, so how much I will get? Okay, 25,000 into 2, it's 50,000 by 2. So it is again 25,000. This is 25,000. And again here it is 25,000. Try to understand. This is in Newton. This is also in Newton. Okay, so this uniformly distributed load you have converted into point load as 25,000 on node number 3, 25,000 on node number 4. This is your element number 1, this is element number 2, and this is element number 3. Try to understand. Huh? See, on node number, see, you won't have uniformly distributed load on element number 1. Similarly, you won't have for element number 2. So I am not going to put that. This diagram, it is only for uniformly distributed load. So I am not going to consider this load here. Okay, this load I will directly put when I will write down the global matrix equation, right? So let's see what to be done here. Now see, this is all about force. Okay, similarly we need to have movement, right? So movement will go like this. Now one is in clockwise and second it is in anti-clockwise, right? This is the movement. Okay, now see, this node will have 2 degree of freedom, that is 1, 2. Similarly, this will have 2 degree of freedom, that is 3, 4. This will have similarly 2 degree of freedom, 5, 6, and this is again 7, 8. Okay, 2 degrees of freedom. This will have 2, this will have 2, this will have 2, and this will have 2. Okay, now see, how will calculate this moment? Moment is given by QL square by 12, right? QL square by 12. So Q is 20,000 into L square is 2 square, length of the element is 2. So it is 2 square by 12. So tell me how much you get. How much you get?
8333.33.
How much?
8333.33.
Right. This is okay. This is in clockwise action. So similar moment you will have it here. Okay. So this again 8333.33. So obviously this is in Newton meter, right? Moment will be in Newton meter. Right. Now see here, all of it. Now this load, uniformly distributed load, you have converted to point. Okay, and the moments. Okay, so we need to write down the force matrix for that. Okay, so see, this is very important. Try to understand. For node number 1, is there any uniformly distributed load which you have converted into point load? For node number 1, tell me. Is there any uniformly distributed load on element 1 or 2?
No, sir.
No. So see, there is no load. That's why I'm taking 0 here. There is no moment. That's why I'm taking 0 here. This is for node number 1. See, these initially two rows are for node number 1, where first row it is for force and second row it is for element. Sorry, movement. First it is for force and second it is for movement. So for node number 1, you have V1, you don't have any force. Similarly, you don't have any movement. Now come to this node number 2. Okay, is there any force or movement you have? No. Again, this is 0. This is again 0. Right? Now come to this node 3. Node 3. Okay, you have it, right? So you need to compare it. See here. Okay, see here. Compare about node number 3. Compare about node number 3. See, at node number 3, this is going down and this is going up. See here, this is going up, this is going down. Okay, that means it is minus. Okay, so I need to write down minus 25,000, right? Now see here, this is going clockwise, this is going anti-clockwise. See, this is clockwise, this is anti-clockwise. So this is again minus. This is minus 8333.5. Okay, now come back here. This is going down, and this is going up. So this is again minus. That is minus 25,000, right? Now see here, this is the can you see this? This is in anti-clockwise. This is again in anti-clockwise. So that is plus. This is 8333.3. Is it okay? Yes or no? See, for initial two nodes, 1 and 2, there is no force or movement. Okay, which you have converted from uniformly distributed load to point load. So these 4 terms are 0. Okay, now if you go for 5, 6, and 7, 8, these terms will be. Okay, is it okay with this one?
Yes, sir.
Now based on this, okay, we should write down the global matrix, right? Global matrix. As you know, global stiffness matrix, when you multiply it by displacement, okay, displacement is vertical displacement or angular displacement, is given by force or movement. Okay, so we need to write down these matrices. So I'll write down this matrix as it is. Okay, so this I'm supposed to write down here. Okay, 43.2 minus 43.2 0 0 0 0, right? And this is 43.2 57.6 minus 43.2 28.8, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? So this is minus 43.2, minus 43.2. Now tell me 43.2 plus 145.6.
388.8.
How much?
388.8.
388.8. Now minus 43.2 plus 172.8.
It's 129.6.
129.6. Okay, then this is minus 345.6. This is 172.8. This is 0 and this is 0. And 43.2, 28.8. Now tell me this, minus 43.2 plus 172.8. This will come 129.6, right?
128.6.
How much?
129.6. No, same.
6, right? Then 57.6 plus 115.2. 57.6,
172.8.
172.8. So this is minus 172.8. This is 57.6. This is 0. This is 0. Right? So after that I will have 0, 0, minus 345.6, minus 172.8. Now 345.6 plus 43.2. 345.6 plus 43.2. Tell me. Three 45.6. How much?
388.8.
388.8. 129. Minus 43.2.
Minus 129.6.
Right, this is minus
Yes.
minus 129.6, right? Then minus 43.2 and 43.2 as it is. Then we go to sixth column. 0, 0, 172.8, 57.6, and this is again minus 129.6, 115.2 plus 57.6, 172.7, 172.8, right? Minus 43.2, 28.8, right? Then 0, 0, 0, 0, 4 terms are 0, minus 43.2, minus 43.2, 43.2, minus 43.2, okay? Then I will put 0, 0, 0, 0, 43.2, 28.8, minus 43.2, 57.6, right? So this is your what? Global stiffness matrix, right? This is to be multiplied by displacement. Okay, you're supposed to multiply it by displacement. This is V1, theta 1, V2, theta 2, V3, theta 3, V4, theta 4. Okay, is equal to forces. Is equal to force, right? Which are the forces? Okay, F1, M1, right? F2, M2, F3, M3, F4, and M4. So these are the point loads. These are the point loads and the moments. Okay, now this you are supposed to combine. This you are supposed to combine. Okay, that means this force you are supposed to superimpose it. Okay, so I'll do that, right? this as it is, I'm going to copy here, right? So plus 0, m1 plus 0. Okay, this is m2 plus 0. This is m2 plus 0. Right, this is minus 25,000. This is minus 8333.33. This is again minus 25,000.
सर वो माइक बंद करो ना एक का, बहुत वो हो रहा है.
And this is plus 8333.33, right? 8333.33, right? Now just check how to solve it. How we can solve it? Let me know. How we will solve it? How we are supposed to solve this? Can you let me know how to solve it? I will solve it. Let me know.
Sir, F2 is minus 50 kilonewton.
Right. See, before solving, we need to impose boundary condition. At node 1, it is fixed. Okay, that means node 1 cannot move. That means V1 is 0. Similarly, this theta 1 is also 0, right? V1 is 0, theta 1 is 0. Okay, so when you make V1 0, what happens? First row, first column gets cancelled. When you make theta 1 0, so second row, second column gets cancelled, right? Now come back to here. Here it's roller. Roller can't move in vertical direction. The roller can't move in vertical direction. So V4 is 0. V4 is 0, right? So I'll make that. I will make V4 0. See here. Try to understand. V4 is 0. So as V4 is 0, what happens is, okay, this 7th row and the 7th column gets cancelled. 7th row and 7th column is gets cancelled. Yes or no? Okay. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now what, how will solve it? How we want to solve that? How will solve it? How is supposed to solve these matrices? See here, you will get what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You will get how many equations? 5 equations. Right? 5 equations you will get. Okay. So 5 equations with 5 unknowns you will get. So in that case, when you're supposed to represent one constant or one unknown variable in terms of all other variables. Okay. Says or no? So in that case, okay, we'll be able to reduce the complexity. Says or no? Okay, let me do that otherwise. See, we'll go here. See, if I need to calculate the value of F2, I'll do that. Third row into this column is equal to F2. So now let's do that. 38.8 here. Sorry, 388.8 into V2 plus 129.6 into theta 2 minus 345.6 V3 plus 172.8 theta 3 is equal to F2 plus 0. Yes or no? Okay. But what is the force applied at node 2? What is the force applied at node 2? It's 50 kilonewton, right? That is 50,000. Okay. So we can check here value of F2 as 50,000. So that is equal to 50,000 plus 0. That is equal to 50,000. That is equal to 50,000, right? So this is one equation you will get by third row and this column. Similarly, you will get one equation by fourth row. Okay, fourth row and this column. Okay, that I will do 129.6 into V2 plus 172.8 into theta 2 minus 172.8 into V3 plus 57.6 into theta 3 is equal to M2 plus 0, right? Is equal to M2 plus 0. So this into this is equal to M2 plus 0. Now see, at node number 2, they haven't applied any moment. If see, the force is given 50 kilonewton, but is there any moment is given like 4 kilonewton meter, 5 kilonewton per meter? It's not given, right? So we will take that as a 0 value. So this is 0 plus 0, right? Try to understand. Now go to third equation. Just go to third equation. Okay, which we want for F3 minus 2500. So I'll go like this. This row, okay, that is fifth row, okay, fifth row into this column, right? So that is 3 minus 345.6, okay, into V2 minus 172.8 into theta 2 plus 388.8 into V3 minus 129.6 into theta 3, okay, into theta 3. Now this into this is 0, right? What is remaining? 28.8 plus 28.8 into theta 4 is equal to M3. See here, is equal to F2 minus 2500. F2 minus 2500. Okay, see, let me do that. Minus 345.6 into this is minus 172, 388. Okay, minus 129, and this is 43.2, right? This is 43.2. Okay, this is 43.2, right? This is 43.2 into last term theta, right? 43.2 into theta is equal to this F3 minus 2500. Now same like that. Is there any force which is applied at node 3? No, it is 0. So this will come 0 minus 2500. Similarly, we should go for this M3 minus 8333.3. So this is this row into this column, right? So this is 172.8 into V2 plus 57.6 into theta 2 minus 129.6 into V3 plus 172.8 into theta 3, okay, plus 28.8 into theta 4 is equal to M3 minus 8333.3. But again, no moment is applied at node 3, so I'll take it as 0. So 0 minus 8333.3. So this is come as minus 25,000. Okay, this will come as minus 8333.3, right? Similar exercise we need to repeat for last, this row into this column. Okay, so see what we do. So initial 4 terms are 0. So what we are getting is 43.2 V3 plus 28.8 theta 3 plus 28.8 theta 3. This is 0. Okay, plus 57.6 theta 4 is equal to M4 plus 8333. This is 0. So this is equal to 0 plus 8333.33. So this will come as 8333.33. Now let me know how to solve those equations, all those equations. How will solve it? Let me know how to solve it. Let me know how to solve it. Can anybody solve it or not? See, these are the 3 equations. Okay, what we are supposed to do it here is Okay, we are supposed to put one term in the form of other term. Okay, see if you can see here, you're having only three unknowns here, right? You are only having three unknowns here. Okay, but if you see this equation 1, 2, 3, 4, here there are 1, 2, 3, 4, here there are 4 unknowns. Okay, here you have 3 unknowns. Okay, so from this equation you calculate the value of V3, you put this in this form. Okay, here, so you put this here in this form, so you'll get it in terms of theta 3 and theta 4. You'll get it in terms of theta 3 and theta 4. Again, from that you can pick one value, you can put it here. Okay, so likewise, okay, you can reduce the complexity of the equation and then you can solve. Okay, so you'll get those values. Which values you will get? You'll get the values of V2, you will get the values of theta 2, okay, V3, theta 3 and theta 4. Okay, these values you will get. Okay, once you got this value, okay, you can do the calculation. Okay, for the calculation of reactions. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So this is the end of the chapter, that is analysis of beam, right? So in the next lecture, we are going to start with the shape functions for 2D element. Shape functions for 2D element. They might be triangle, rectangle, quadrilateral, any element you can have.